You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 68. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
And I'm his bumbling minion, Jeff Barnhart.
Oh, man. Well, today we're going to start with 3 issues of The Karate Kid. Now, this has nothing to do with Ralph Macchio, of course. This is Karate Kid from the Legion of Superheroes. And for a time in the 70s, he had his own book, 15 issues to be precise. And we start with Karate Kid number 3, and the story is The Revenger, written by David Michelinie, with art by Rick Estrada and Joe Staton.
Yeah, we find Karate Kid and his girlfriend.
Is she his girlfriend? No, I think this is a friend, because remember, he's with Princess Projectra in the future.
That's right.
But he's in the 20th century right now.
She wants to be his girlfriend, though.
Right. Of course.
But they're in this bank, and there's this huge line because there's only one teller. And
it's very true to life.
Yeah, but 3 police security guards, and which I've not seen a bank security guard in decades.
Well, this is a comic from decades ago.
Yeah.
But, it's very typical of, one guy to push a broom and 2 guys to watch him.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, but they're in this huge line, and all of a sudden, the Revenger comes out.
Yeah.
Oh, man. One of the more goofball costumes.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. He's got a breastplate, it looks like, and he's got a bionic arm, or something.
Yeah.
Oh, so he comes in, and he's after the banker.
Right.
Because the banker and 2 other guys set up this grant for him to make this super heavy metal, and then he's going to use it for good, and they use it for war materials.
Mm-hmm.
So he wants to get his revenge. And he does. He kills the banker.
What a lazily named villain, though. The Revenger.
Yeah.
He's out for revenge,
Well, Karate Kid isn't that spectacular.
Right. I mean, he has super martial arts powers. Yeah.
Yeah. And his costume's kind of goofball, too.
Oh, I like it, okay.
The
big lapels, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was a 70s thing.
Yeah.
And... lots of cool crowd reactions.
Yeah. Because the Revenger comes busting through a window.
Yeah, and everybody's shocked.
Oh, yeah.
But, it's okay. It's typical 70s DC fare. Competently done, but it's kind of, I don't know, ho-hum. I don't know.
It's not the greatest thing in the world. And, the Revenger's a one-off villain. Mm-hmm. Spoilers. And... it's nice that, okay, this is a one-and-done story. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, it's cool to see the Karate Kid, he's, from, 1,000 years in the future, and he's dealing with 20th century stuff, and...
Yeah, they don't do as much of that as I would like.
Yeah.
I like the outsider's view of society.
Yeah.
So now, ironically, since we live so much further in the future, then it's almost as... odd to us as if we lived 1,000 years in the 70s.
Sure. And this is interesting. It was a cool idea of DC to give, an odd choice to give this Legionnaire his own book, but I think it's capitalizing on the martial arts popularity in the 70s. DC had another book called Richard Dragon, Kung Fu Fighter, which we'll have several issues to read very soon.
I'm trying to think when Karate Kid, the movie, came out. I think it's
the
early
80s. Yeah. Again, no connection. It's like there's also a Ralph Macchio who works for Marvel Comics who is not. He may have done some stuff at DC too, but
yeah. But I think Karate Kid cannot be. I don't know. It's probably just a word back then. Oh, he's a Karate Kid or something.
Yeah.
Just so.
Sure. But you think this and Richard Dragon are like in direct competition with Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu, and Iron Fist over at Marvel.
Yeah.
Not to mention Yang and Judo Master at Charlton.
Yeah.
Although actually, I think Judo Master actually been precede those characters, but Yang, yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of neat that the guy leaves clues like the Riddler. Yeah, I'm not going to give you one of the. But
okay.
He goes up to a jeweler next, and then he goes after who was the next guy? The administrator, Universal Concept.
Oh, right.
But Karate Kid is there before him.
Yeah.
So Revenger has this bionic arm, and he has these three. It's got like a bolo or a flail.
Yeah, it's a flail.
Super heavy metal.
Yeah. So. But it's weird. The Revenger created like this beyond the bionic arm and chest piece are just the thing he puts on. It's like, why wouldn't you give yourself two bionic arms?
Right.
Um,
yeah, and he loves his pigeons.
Yeah.
Which is...
It's kind of like Birdman of Alcatraz, or like a nice, quiet person who was driven over the edge kind of thing.
Or the writer, the writer and producers. The German guy.
Oh, okay.
Pigeons.
Okay.
Boyd's. Disgusting, filthy Boyd's,
Yeah.
said the concierge.
That's funny.
About out of the building. Then his love for pigeons kills him.
Yeah, he's crushed by a big sign or something while he's in battle with the Karate Kid. So he gets, punished for murdering these two guys. I think didn't the Karate Kid save the third guy?
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Okay.
So nothing to write home about, but it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
But this next issue that we've got, oh boy, this is neat. It's Karate Kid number 13, and the story is called Tomorrow's... What is it? Tomorrow's Battle in Yesterday. It's written by Bob Rozakis with art by Juan Ortiz and Bob McLeod.
Yeah.
And the Lord of Time and Major Disaster.
I love Nate. No, that's a great name.
Oh yeah, and they've teamed up to fight the Karate Kid, and they've also brought a version of the Legion of Superheroes from a part of their timeline from before the Karate Kid was a member, so they don't recognize him, and so they fight him.
Yeah, and he's already fighting Superman, although they think it's Superboy, but it's obviously Superman.
Is it Superman?
Now look at him. That does not look like a boy.
I could have swore that it was Superboy because it was all these Legionnaires, but who's the roll call of Legion members? Let's see, we've got Colossal Boy, Chameleon Boy, Saturn Girl, Cosmic Boy, Lightning Lad, and Sun Boy, and I swear it's Superboy.
I don't know. He looks old. He doesn't look like a boy. So.
Okay.
But maybe I'm wrong. Still, he's... I don't know. Okay. Maybe they forgot how to draw him. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this artist just doesn't really know how to do teenagers very well because...
Everybody looks old, to tell you the truth, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Everybody looks like they're in their 30s.
Yeah, see, I'm telling you, it's Superboy. So...
Yeah, okay. All right, so Karate Kid is...
he's hopelessly outmatched, by 6 or 7 Legionnaires against him.
Yeah, and he should be outmatched by Superman, but I don't know. He gives him a good fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and beats up Saturn Girl.
Yeah.
Her real name is Emra.
Yeah.
Ardeen. So. Chameleon Boy is all Reed Richards on him. So.
Yeah, well, you can do stuff like that. I mean,
yeah. But they capture him, and then they talk, and I think Saturn Girl says, "Oh, he's telling the truth, at least for him."
Right. She's able to read his mind, and then they figure out, oh, it's a trick by the Lord of Time and Major Disaster. They get this big plot going. I don't remember what they were wanting to do. Was it to destroy the Legion?
I guess so. And who wouldn't want to do that? So they make a tornado and asteroids or meteors or it's hailing boulders. I think it's well maybe I don't know. I don't know where. I forgot where they came from. And a volcano erupting in Smallville.
Oh man!
It's a volcano in quotation marks, as in it's spewing forth a flood of water.
Well, maybe these are disasters artificially created by Major Disaster.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Midvale. What's the...
Midvale, that's Midvale Orphanage and Midvale High. That's where Supergirl was.
Okay.
So it's a neighboring town to Smallville.
And I forget who lives in Metropolis. So. Just kidding.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So they fight the... All right, one of the stupidest things I've ever seen here.
Okay.
And a long history of reading comics. Superman expands his cape so that the rocks bounce off um, Metropolis.
Right. We've seen him do stuff like, oh, his cape is indestructible. I've seen him stretch it over some things. But over a whole city,
Yeah.
that's kind of crap.
Oh, yeah. But kind of looks cool, but I
Yeah.
don't know. Oh, we see an advertisement for Steel, the indestructible man.
Which we will have that very first issue to talk about very soon.
Mm-hmm. And new Shazam.
Yeah. And unfortunately, near the end of the Shazam series in the 70s, they changed directions, but it was a little too late. They decided, hey, let's get Don Newton on art and do this book a little more serious. And then it ran for a few more issues, and then it became a backup feature in, I think it was Adventure Comics or World's Finest. Maybe both.
Yeah. Oh, I was wrong. Here's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in comics.
Oh.
Chameleon Boy turns himself into a fan. It's like a desk fan. And
Yeah.
it could have been a wind turbine or something. But, man,
See, I don't really know about that because I usually see Chameleon Boy turn himself into other people or weird animals, like turning himself into objects. Like I've seen him turn into a chair, but like something with complex moving parts like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Something's wrong.
Yeah. Colossal Boy uses his fist to jam up the volcano, which I think is funny.
Yeah, it is. And he sits on it. So,
Hey, sit on it, Potsy.
yeah. Oh. And then we find out that what's his girl's name? Ms. Jacobs.
Yeah. Anyway, the girl that
Alice Jacobs.
Yeah, okay.
She turns into Diamond Dead.
Oh yeah, Diamond Death, which is a weird.
Yeah.
No.
Diamond Death?
Yeah.
Yep, Diamond Death. Excuse me. Let's see. They kick butt, but I think that they escape. So
the bad guys
escape.
Yeah, the Lord of Time and Major Disaster. Of course.
Yeah. So Iris turns into a girl made out of diamond.
Yeah. So she's on the rampage.
That's ironic. Girls like diamonds. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you like diamonds, so you're a diamond. Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of weird. And so we don't have the issue that follows it, but we do have Karate Kid number 15, which is the last issue of the series. And we see. Well, let's see. The story is called "Bring Back My Future to Me," written by Bob Rozakis with art again by Juan Ortiz, and. Karate Kid takes a Legion time bubble, and he and Diamond Death are traveling to the future, but they get caught in the late disaster. For some reason, in the Great Disaster period, which is an alternate timeline, and they meet Dr. Canis from Commandy.
Yeah, and a Sherlock Holmes dog.
Yeah, and I think what was that? The alien, the fire girl. What was her called?
Pyra.
Pyra. Thank you. Yeah.
And remembering these names, I'm have trouble remembering people's names. If I meet somebody, 15 minutes later I forget their names. It is so hard for me to remember the names of these characters. I don't, that's a lot of them don't make any sense, or I'm not even sure how to pronounce them correctly, and they're spelled weird, and I don't know. And
why bother, right?
Well, no, I try, but I don't do a good job of it. So.
I think you do fine, Jeff. I mean, it's just, the ones that I don't remember the names of are ones that are, like, relatively new to me. Like Pyra, like what? She's in a few issues of Commandy, so, which is not a book that I've spent my whole life reading, so.
Yeah, well, Karate Kid fights, okay, you see Dr. Canis and Sherlock Holmes' dog, and Karate Kid beats the crap out of him.
Yeah.
I like the Sherlock Holmes dog, although I don't like his egads or something like that. Sherlock Holmes never said egads.
Well,
I'm not even sure if any real British person in history said egads.
I don't know. But, Karate Kid is confused. He thinks this is all a trick by the Lord of Time, and so that's why he's fighting them. Until they kind of cool his jets and figure out, hey, we're nobody's enemies here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The dog is wearing a deerstalker hat and smoking a a curved pipe, calabash pipe.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Kamandi, we see. I mean, he's not in this, although
Right.
he's constantly in the background, and we see him being captured by lobster people.
Yeah.
Oh, and the lobster people are surfer lobsters. So,
Yeah, and they when they meet a talking human, they think they're gods, and so they want to worship them, and so they kidnap Commandy and now Karate Kid and want to take him to this weird island,
yeah,
well, for where their god lives or something.
yeah, and
Karate Kid's having none of that,
yeah,
so
it's a.
so he fights these lobster people. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they fix
Diamond
Diamond
Death,
Death.
Pyra has matter transmuting abilities, and she's able to fix whatever the girl's name is. It becomes Diamond Death and turns
Iris.
her
Yeah.
Iris. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and then she freaks out, and then she Pyra changes her back.
Yeah, but she's like, I can change her back once we can, you know, make sure
Yeah.
she'll be calm or whatever.
So the entire deal is, which is, oh, it's goofy. I guess this is why this is the last issue. So
Yeah.
they uh, put Karate Kid in an egg, and they put him to a screen projector, and they make a movie with his thoughts, I guess, or something.
Yeah, they put he and Commandy in this thing, and they're gonna make them fight in a martial arts movie or something,
Yeah, Bruce Lee and Enter the Dragon.
which is a great movie.
Yes, it is.
Oh man,
It's the first Hollywood kung fu film.
oh man, it's excellent. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's kind of sad that this is the last one. I'm
yeah.
not sure if
I mean, that storyline wraps up in like the following issue of Commandy.
yeah.
So I mean, Marvel would do that too. They'd cancel a book and then like, oh,
Well,
we'll
that's
wrap
nice.
well-
I like that.
and they wrap up
That-
the
that-
dangling plot lines in. Marvel canceled several books and wrap up plot lines in the Defenders.
I approve of that, and that's
Yeah.
a cool way of doing it because now I don't know, it's a comic book, but you know you can't want to care how you want to see where it's going.
Right, and it's a smart way business-wise because if a book's sales are like, let's cancel it, but you don't want to have dangling plot lines, sure, you could just put out another issue and wrap things up. Well, who's going to buy it?
Yeah.
Well, you have it wrap up in some other title, you boost the sales of that book, and you get the other people who are reading the book that's canceled, and maybe they'll start picking up the
And
Defenders
plus,
or Commandy or
they're
whatever.
canceling this title, so maybe I ought to check it out in the next issue. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's kind of it's sort of I don't know. I hate to go by and see like a business going out of because that's just tremendous amount of misery there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's human suffering, like, oh, great.
I mean, it's not the Holocaust, but
Well, but it sucks. I mean, it's somebody going into debt, and like, okay, their future is kind of shaky.
yeah. And it doesn't matter. I mean, if I like the place, that's even worse. But even though I've never been there, don't even intend to go there. It's sort of sad. And you just wonder what the sadness of these people who worked on this, and they worked hard on this, and it's gone. And
I mean, I know that Bob Rozakis, who was writing the book, at least at the time of its cancellation, I mean, he wrote other comics, so, but yeah, I mean, if you get, it's a shame. You're assigned to write a book, and you get into it, and then you don't get to see a lot of your ideas to come to fruition, or you have to kind of rush and wrap them up because it's going away.
and then you got to find another job or something.
Well, yeah. So
So
we've got a few issues of
Kong, and
Kong the Untamed.
very well drawn.
Yeah. Let me just get going now. Kong the Untamed, number 1. It's written by Jack Olick with terrific art by Alfredo Alcala. And it's caveman stuff.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. It's a little bit of gods, and there's no superhero-ness and all this stuff.
No.
And interesting plot. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I've read all but one. It's only ran for 5 issues, and the only issue I haven't read is number 4. And I wish we had number 2 so that you could have read it because it's we're just perfectly issues 1 and 3, which we have. So anyway,
Yeah.
Um,
Let's see. Kong. I don't like the name, but oh well. What can you do?
right,
Because you think of King Kong.
right.
His his mother and him are kicked out, and
Of the
he is
tribe,
yeah
because he's blonde.
yeah yeah, and
Because
I don't really don't like that
the
either.
chief knows that there's a prophecy. The chief and the medicine man or whatever, or the shaman, they know about this prophecy of a long hair who's going to come and lead the tribe. Well, the chief doesn't want to be ousted, so he kicks the mother and Kong out.
Yeah, but it's there are Neanderthals around, and he
Yeah.
fights these Neanderthals,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know that they're trying to survive, and a lot of it's trying to eat and
Yeah.
get food, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
And Kong's mother is killed in this first issue, I thought. No?
Yeah, she looks that way.
Yeah, that's right. She's hung, which is pretty gruesome, actually. But then Kong swears revenge, and that's on the chief of his tribe, and that's
Who's a one-eyed guy. So.
yeah,
So we have that trope of if you're facially disfigured, you're evil. So
except for Mighty Samson, who's missing an eye, and he's good.
yeah,
Well, no, and Nick Fury's missing an eye, good guy.
yeah.
So I don't know. It's
Well, no.
disfigured, yeah. Missing an eye,
the
we can talk.
exceptions prove the rule.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You see a guy in a comic book with an eye patch, you
Like,
instantly think he's bad
Sure.
until proven differently.
right.
So
At the very least, he's going to be cantankerous like Nick Fury.
yeah. Or a big square like Mighty Samson.
Man, he is.
Yeah.
So we've got Kong the Untamed #3. I know I've read the second issue. I wish I'd have hung on to it. Well.
Okay.
So Kong is on his own. He's befriended a Neanderthal who is also outcast from his own tribe.
Yeah.
And #2, they were enemies and they fought, and then they saved each other's lives, and so now they're brothers.
Yeah. I've always liked that.
That's really cool.
Enemies becoming friends. Is kind of
Frenemies.
Yeah.
But that's a different thing, though. That's like a serious rivalry, but you kind of like each other or that kind of thing.
And it's actually boys do this, girls do not. Boys will fight and then become friends.
Mm-hmm.
Girls, no.
Yeah, they'll hate her forever.
Right.
They do that.
That's interesting. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think that I don't know. It's like Kipling. The female is deadlier than the male. And, they take rivalry seriously, and men think it's just a big adventure. Oh, I've had my adventure.
Yeah.
Now let's be friends.
Sure.
And the adventure never stops with women because they have to, evolutionary. They have to save their child, and nothing comes before that.
Right.
Men can goof off and have a good time.
Yeah.
Women cannot.
Right. So I'm thinking like great frenemy situation or examples in comics like Spider-Man and the Human Torch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They play tricks on each other,
Yeah.
and they would bad talking. But if one of the guys got in trouble, the other one would come.
Definitely.
Who else?
I'll
All the X-Men. So, it's just, are there any buddies in X-Men? They all seem to not like each other.
At least in the 70s iteration of them, yeah.
Yeah, actually, the Fantastic Four, for that matter, too. Well,
oh yeah, Ben and Johnny, definitely. There's always that interplay. But I want to say like almost Luthor and Brainiac, but it doesn't quite work because they're just neither one of them is playful, and so that it doesn't quite.
Also, if they win, one of them is going to stab it on the back.
Well, right.
Metaphorically, maybe, but
Well, right. I mean, the thing about Luthor and Brainiac teaming up is, okay, let's pool our resources and try to destroy Superman.
Mm-hmm.
But if the plan succeeded, then it would be, okay, I have to destroy the other one.
Right. That's not a frenemy. That's
strange bedfellows is what that is. You
yeah.
know?
There's another word I think.
Yeah,
it doesn't come to mind. So
it's the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
All right.
is really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah. All right. So.
So Kong and the Neanderthal guy, I don't remember his name, and it don't matter.
Oh, yeah. I don't. They the tribe is sacrificing to one of their gods, and they run because a saber-toothed tiger comes up. I always like saber-toothed tigers. What a great animal.
Oh, they're cool.
Yeah, great time period for weird animals, but that's the coolest animal of that time period.
Yeah.
That mastodons.
Sure. I think the Belucatherium is really cool. It's like a big rhinoceros-y kind of thing, but it's got like horns on the. I couldn't even describe it. It's weird.
It's got about 4 tusks and something like that, and
something
it's
like that.
It's all over the place.
Well, and there's like a different kind of mastodon with like a shovel-headed jaw. That I don't know. It's like think of like an elephant with a mouth like an alligator and tusks and a snout.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
Yeah, and you just wonder if someone's not having a laugh at us for
sure.
just thinking paleo.
Come on. God has a sense of humor. I mean, come on, look at the giraffe, a polka-dotted horse with a big long neck.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I hope he does anyway.
Of course, I think giraffes are more like llamas, aren't they?
I am not sure.
I look at their faces; they're like llama. I think they're like llama.
Could they be bovine?
I think they're in the llama, camel, that family, alpaca.
Maybe so.
But anyway.
Oh, look at the platypus. So.
Yeah.
I think they're poisonous. I did not.
They lay eggs.
Yeah.
They're the only
mammal that lays eggs, and I think they're poisonous.
Really?
Poisonous bite.
I did not know that.
Yeah, well, you never see anybody. Oh, here's a cute little platypus. No, no one touches them. So, and koala bears are mean and nasty.
Do you know that most of them have syphilis? Because they're like disgusting. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Their habits are like everyone thinks koalas are really cute, but they're really promiscuous, and so that they have syphilis.
Yeah, I don't think nature likes promiscuity.
But the thing is, it's up to a certain point, it's a strong survival tool perpetuate the species,
right.
And also keeping the gene pool diverse.
Right.
But
that doesn't like a lot of promiscuity.
To a point, then disease comes in. It's too bad. VD is like the worst thing. Like, come on, man, you're killing me with this.
In the Renaissance, people had it, and they would eat their face away.
Yeah, I mean, syphilis, its severity has decreased immensely over the centuries. But it used to be like, whoa, it was really bad news.
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, you just go get a shot,
right.
and you're good.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't know.
I mean, well, I don't mean. Okay. I don't mean from personal experience, but if it goes unchecked, you can go insane though.
Yeah.
Syphilis. That is still true.
I think Al Capone went insane.
Really?
Syphilis.
Huh.
Oh.
So
before we go into the thing, the Secret Origins of Supervillains. I would love to have this comic. It's an in-house comic ad.
And that's for one of those big treasury editions.
Yeah. Luthor, the Joker, Captain Cold. Have we seen Captain Cold at all?
I feel like we have. When we went through our Flash block, we definitely had Captain Cold. At least
Dr.
once.
Sivana, Sinestro, and the Cheetah.
Yeah.
There's only really 2. I guess Sinestro is pretty cool, but I'm not really interested in Captain Cold, and the Cheetah's kinda, I don't know. Maybe she's been in something I haven't seen, but I haven't really. She's not one of my favorite villains.
I'll tell you what kind of was a game changer for me with the Cheetah is seeing it's an animated movie. It's called Justice League Doom, and
I have not seen any of those.
Man, they're great. They're really good, but I have a couple of them, but I
can watch them anytime on Netflix. So,
okay, but Justice League Doom. Okay, Vandal Savage recruits her and the Mirror Master and several other supervillains for his version of the Legion of Doom, and they have this plan and to take over the world, and it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, but she's really excellent in that.
Okay. All right.
So Kong.
They're captured by the cavemen.
Yeah.
and they put into this pit, and they tell Kong to kill the Neanderthal, but he throws and sets him free.
Mm-hmm.
And they fight, and then I think they run. Yeah, and this is where a little part of me died.
Because
they go to dinosaurs. I'm a huge fan of dinosaurs, but this is like serious caveman stuff. I mean
right.
it could be written by paleontologists and all that stuff. And I say that right? But,
yeah, no, and you're right. This book has a very serious tone, and it's like, oh, this is kind of seems fairly believable in caveman life in that period where Neanderthal and Cro-Magnon kind of coexisted for a time. And then we have a dinosaur. So, I mean, introducing dinosaurs may have come down from editorial.
Yeah, we got to do something to get up sales.
Well, right. I mean, this book was canceled after 5 issues.
Yeah.
And the 5th issue, which we also have, like, kind of wraps up pretty abruptly. I mean, it ties it up, but
yeah. That's sad. And it was kind of...
I like it. They meet I think it's an allosaur or a tyrannosaur, and they trap it in quicksand.
Yeah, it could have been it wasn't as scary as it should have been.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big lizard coming in. Let's go get him. All right.
Yeah, and then we got some kind of pterodactyl swooping around too.
Yeah, with yeah.
All right, and at the very end they meet some other human beings, and that's the lead into the the second and final arc of the series.
Yeah. Bones and a Martyr.
Yeah, from Kong the Untamed #3. Yes, Bones of the Martyr, written by Jerry Conway, with art by David Wenzel and Bill Trout. So, not only did they change this for at least this last issue, I have no idea about #4. Changed writers, and the entire creative team is different than Oleg and Alcala, who started it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an okay issue, but it's not as cool as this is the very animal I was trying to describe to you earlier.
Okay.
I think that's a Bleucotherium, or it's similar to it. Whatever.
They don't say what it is.
It's just a weird, wild prehistoric beast. But
yeah, it is cool.
Anyway, so Kong and the Neanderthal, they've made new friends with this tribe where the men are subservient and the women are dominant.
Yeah. And that's wrong. That's so wrong.
And they say that in the comic. It's kind of weird.
Oh, it's true. No. They eat meat cold.
Or uncooked.
Raw.
Yeah. Well, cavemen probably did that.
Yeah, that's kind of... They know about fire, though.
Yeah, but it takes a long time to create fire. And if you don't have one, what's the harm of just eating the meat and drinking the blood and, get all that iron and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. The Neanderthal eats a lizard and he gets sick.
Because he eats the whole thing in one sitting, and he hadn't eaten in days.
Oh, yeah.
He's separated from Kong at this point, I think. Because something happened. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and these people are riding pterodactyls, which...
that's awesome, though.
Yeah, that is awesome. But it should have been in another comic book.
Right.
Oh, okay, this old woman is in control of a bunch of beautiful girls, cave girls.
Yeah.
Oh, and one of them wants to get married, but she says no.
She doesn't like the guy.
Right. No, she doesn't like any guys. I don't think you're supposed to marry, period.
Well, she's married.
Is she?
To this guy, and the father consoles the daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
the role reversal is really strange because men are expected to be passive and permissive, and the women definitely are in charge.
Yeah, that's could have been a nice story arc about 3 or 4.
Yeah, and unfortunately gets crammed into 2 issues and kind of, ended kind of like.
Yeah, they fight, and one of the guys
chooses
he rebels. And he is crucified.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. And...
women were born to rule, men to follow.
Wow.
Yeah.
But then something else happens. I think they're attacked by
The other crew that
the folks who ride the pterodactyls. That's right. That is a different group, and they just attack and burn this village, and that's the end.
Yep.
It's very abrupt. It's it's the promise of the first few issues is really great, and then this is kind of ends on such a weird note. It's disappointing.
Yeah.
Another victim of the DC implosion.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh well. You kind of wish that the government would subsidize DC and Marvel or something like that.
Just
but that it would be really awful if they did. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, but the stipulation is you got to be in every corner drugstore again.
Yeah. If there were any such thing as a corner drugstore.
Well, you know what I mean.
Right.
I long for the days of the spinner rack.
Yeah. Yeah, those days. Well, I still see comics in Fred Meyer's, which is a local supermarket chain.
Yeah, it's owned by Kroger's. So, but yeah, when I see them at Fred Meyer's, it will be like Simpsons comics, maybe a Star Wars, maybe Archie, and that's about it.
Yeah, I see Archie at the checkout sign.
Yeah, the double digest, and it's like, why can't the digest format? I mean, DC and Marvel both did those in the 80s. DC very successfully, the Blue Ribbon Digest, and I'm like, that's such a fun format. I don't understand why they can't be putting out a best of DC digests and have them on the. If it works for Archie, why can't it work for the big two? You know,
that's interesting. Or they could do 1 month Marvel and 1 month DC. Just have an agreement because shelf space is like gold and getting that.
But I mean,
if Archie was starting out now, they couldn't get that place.
Right. I mean, but Archie is a comic company that's been around since the golden age of comics, just like Marvel and DC. I mean, in one format or another. There's no reason that Marvel and DC couldn't have digests in that very same format on that same quality of paper. I mean, if they have
pictures smaller, or do they just cut the page in half, or how
it's
they do that?
Shrunk.
It's shrunk.
It's shrunk to digest size.
No, that doesn't matter with Archie because
it's kind of sparse. I understand that superhero comics tend to be a bit more. There's a bit more going on in the thing, but I mean, you can choose different stories. I mean, you can choose stuff that's you can have stuff that's a little more sparse and have new content that's like that. You can have stuff directed towards that market.
Yeah.
Created specifically for that.
Well, that's an idea.
I would love to see that, but
although
I'd buy them. I'd love that because it's perfect for a bus ride, a train ride, plane ride, something little you can put in your pocket.
All right, the problem with it is, if you shrunk it, if you don't have to shrink the whole page, because these days, I mean, with these, the drawings are meant to fit a page.
Right.
You couldn't really cut them in half. Because
right.
one thing is there's 3, so you have to cut 1 1/2. And,
right.
But
I've seen things where they take the panels and it's like they kind of individually out and then kind of put like 3 panels to a page and whatever in different like paperbacks and stuff.
Yeah,
and it works fine.
In the computer age, and a lot of comics are now, and even old paper, it'd be a whole lot easier to change it, to put into a smaller format like that.
Yeah. But I mean, who knows? Even maybe Archie's digests that are on the stands will go away because digital's kind of taking over in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I mean,
I never bought an Archie's, and never wanted to, and
I mean,
even as a kid, I mean, I watched the Archie show because it was the only thing that was on Saturday morning that was remotely interesting.
Yeah.
And Sugar's a decent song.
Sure.
But that's
Archie comics are fun and they're simple, but I mean, I've read them. They're okay. I mean, but it's not something I go out.
I read other people's.
Yeah.
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 Hey, okay, I'll read.
Sure.
Other people's comics are great. I'll read them.
Well, and when I've bought comics for this show, I'll buy like bulk lots of comics with the covers tore off, and there are Archie comics in there, and I'll read those. We don't read them for the show because it's just no long, there's no continuity or like big epic things happening. It's Archie goofed and he's trying to be on a date with Betty and Veronica on the same night, like stuff like that. There's no real story there of depth, and it's just kind of a formula. So, but anyway, we're just all tangenty.
Yeah.
But moving on, we've got Marvel Collector's Item Classics number 22, and this reprints a bunch of great Silver Age stories. The first one being The Dreaded Diablo from Fantastic Four number 30, written by Stan Lee with art by Jack Kirby and Chick Stone.
Oh, you know how they use hyperbole and Jack King Kirby and all this.
Yeah.
And here they go. Stan Lee, a rather nice writer. Jack Kirby, a quite noteworthy artist. Chick Stone, a somewhat nifty inker. Lettered by Art Simic. An occasionally neat letterer.
Yeah.
So the understatement is funny.
Yeah. And there's a lot of funny stuff like that.
Fantastic Four, they go for vacation. Where? In Transylvania.
Of course.
Oh.
And they get lost.
Yeah. And they get attacked by the forest. And they find this haunted castle. Imagine that. I would have never known.
Right?
Oh, yeah. So the thing is sleeping, and he is called to open this. Oh, what is it?
It's like a tomb in the castle.
A big stopper.
Yeah.
It's massive. And he opens it and meets Diablo, and Diablo starts fixing him.
Yeah, Diablo is an alchemist, he said, from centuries past, and he's gives Ben this elixir that's going to cure him of being the thing if he will serve Diablo for 1 year.
Yeah. And Diablo's got all these magical potions that will make people live, be young, and will grow plants instantaneously, and everybody's coming and paying him big bucks, which is a great idea. Although he wants to take it further and take over the world with an army.
Yeah.
Okay, but he makes an indestructible dome. The military can't fix it. The only problem is that everything falls apart.
Yeah, it works for a while, everything that he creates, but then it stops working. So the Fantastic Four, they're bummed that Ben has kind of left them and is with Diablo, but then the potion that Diablo gave him is not working, and so Ben turns on Diablo, and that's where our story proceeds.
Yeah. Here's the ad for Polaris Nuclear Sub.
Again?
Yeah, 200-pound test fiberboard. What we know as cardboard.
Correct. It might be the heavy stock cardboard, but still.
It's that really excited me when I was a kid. Yeah, it's only $6.98.
Yeah, but $7 in like 1968.
That's about $70, something like that.
Is it really?
Well, if bread costs 25 cents.
Sure.
A loaf. Gas is about a dime.
Yeah, comics are 12 for 15 cents.
Yeah. So they're $3 now, right? I
3 or 4.
Okay, so
most are 4.
So that's a lot of money.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, $7, and I buy a lot of comic books back then.
Right.
I want to get in my Legion of Superheroes time bubble and just go buy comics like super cheap.
Right.
I'll take back my bottles and just go get a whole bunch of great old comics.
Yeah, that'd be cool, and get them in pristine condition. Then you put them into a safe deposit box, and then so they'll age.
Correct, because that's the trouble with time travel. You can't go and get something old and valuable from then and bring it to the future, because then it's brand new.
Right.
So, you're absolutely right. But it'd be nice to. I mean, I would sit and read them first, like, oh man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Can you imagine the thrill of like reading this issue of the Fantastic Four, like right when it came out, and it's a new story?
Yeah, and we will never get that again. That people, wow, here comes a new comic book issue. the excitement of that. Yay! Hey, is Fantastic Four 42 out yet? Oh, maybe tomorrow. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the newsstand model is kind of exciting because you have to. There's a bit of a hunt involved in collecting comics. Now you do, with the comic book stores are great and bad because we lost the spinner rack to the comic shop and the comic book market shrunk because of it. But the books you want to get, you can get a box and you'll have a copy reserved for you if you want it, which is great. So you never miss your comics.
Yeah.
But
yeah, but comic book stores are kind of scary. They are. To someone who's not a comic book geek,
sure,
they're weird. They got weird people in them. The most famous comic book proprietor in popular culture, comic book guy from Simpsons.
Yeah, and he's surly and he's snobby. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and that's not inviting.
No, you're right. And he is that's definitely art imitating life. Fortunately, I mean, Portland, Oregon is a wonderful town to live if you're a comic book fan because we have many comic book shops, and the comic book guy as a comic shop owner, virtually non-existent in the city of Portland.
Yeah, if you're a jerk, someone will go somewhere else.
Exactly. There's only there are many comic book shops in Portland, and all but a couple of them I can recommend as cool places to go. And the ones that I am referring to, there's a chain of at least 2 stores, and the place is called like Comics Collectibles, but they have like hardly any new books, and they've got a small little back room with some back issues. But then it's mostly just toys and games and crap, and I got all these tabletop gamer geeks that go in. It's like, this isn't a comic book store. This is like a geek emporium with some comics, and it's a totally different vibe than if I went to Excalibur, which is a great comic book shop, or Things from Another World, or Cosmic Monkey.
We had one, I forgot the name of it, but in Raleigh that was. It was about it was a comic book store where gamers would go on off hours. And they'd have games.
Sure.
So, and, yeah, they're nice guys.
Yeah, and I don't, if a comic book shop wants to do a thing where they, you can sell whatever you want in your store. And if you want to host gaming, that's your business. But I remember when I was a kid in Gresham, which is a suburb of Portland, Oregon, okay, there was a small comic book shop that just sold comics, and then there was a game place that just sold all the cards and all the RPG stuff, and I like that separateness because the comic book shop that I go to get my books today as an adult, they do not sell any toys or games. It is comic books only.
Which do they not sell figurines?
Nope. Really? None of that. But they have loads of back issues, too. It's Excalibur Comics here on Hawthorne.
Okay.
Love it.
I thought it was almost the rule to sell Iron Man figurine or something.
Yeah. If you go to places like, just about every other comic shop sells all that stuff, too. But I'm like, I appreciate that Excalibur's like, they just sell comics. They don't have it's not cluttered with all the other stuff. So, and they've been around for 40 years.
Wow.
That they're doing something right.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, they own the building.
Yeah, I think they've moved once in that time, but.
Yeah.
But.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, so. All right, Diablo has created his army, and the Fantastic Four was waiting, or they can't do anything to him because he hasn't broken a law, which is kind of interesting. That you have to break a law first, but when they find out he's a fraud and UN considers him a public menace, they can attack.
Well, and I think that's kind of weird because they still fight Dr. Doom even though he has diplomatic immunity.
But he's always doing something. If Dr. Doom walked down the street in New York City, they wouldn't touch him unless he was doing something.
Right. So I guess there's no law against them fighting him, but they just can't arrest him or put him in prison.
Right.
So, but Diablo He's interesting, but I think that once his indestructible dome disappeared, then they were able to attack him. And he's using all kinds of his like potions and capsules to fight them.
Cool, and it's the idea of potions that don't. He's kind of a trick, not a confidence man.
Yeah, he's a snake oil salesman not a cosmic scale, but on a grand scale,
a global scale. So
yeah,
and it's pretty cool, nice fight. I always like to see an army fighting the Fantastic Four, and it usually does pretty.
Yeah.
It's the army's doing a good job fighting, but not good enough.
Right.
So Thing has fun blowing the hell out of the castle.
Yeah, and Diablo actually beats the rest of the FF and puts them in these glass tubes, and the Thing just catches up with Diablo, and he crunches up a suit of armor and throws it at him, and Diablo's on the run, and Ben puts him in this back in that tomb and puts the cork on it. What does he say? Right there.
This will help to keep out the drafts, cornball.
I love it. And so then Ben rescues his teammates, and they live somewhat happily ever after.
Yeah, and they get lost in the woods again.
Oh, ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Yep. Marvel Masterwork pinup.
Of Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Definitely Jack Kirby art there. That's cool.
Yeah, that is.
I love when Marvel would just do that for if they had needed a one-page filler.
Yeah,
they do stuff like that. So
that's cool.
So our next story is Somewhere Lurks the Phantom from Tales of Suspense number 63, written by Stan Lee with art by Don Heck and Dick Ayers, and it's Iron Man.
Yeah. So Tony Stark has died apparently, and Iron Man comes back from a trip, and he ignores everybody.
Happy and Pepper.
Yeah, Happy and Pepper, and this other scientist that he wants his attention.
Right. Somebody that works for him.
Right. But there's something wrong with his battery, so he has to fix it. But he can't show Iron Man. I mean, he can't show Tony Stark. But couldn't Tony Stark just wear a coat and pants over the orange suit? Doesn't he do that?
Sometimes, but the thing is, I think he's using the Tony Stark is dead for some reason, at least initially in this story.
Well, so they won't see, because he can't take the suit off.
He can't take. There's a part of it, the chest piece, like he can't remove because he's got to keep his heart beating because he's got a piece of shrapnel dangerous too close to his heart. So anyway,
I thought that was a plot. So
yeah.
Because I couldn't, had to let the world think Tony Stark is dead because I couldn't remove my armor without causing my injured heart to stop beating.
Correct.
But now things will be different.
Mm-hmm.
But okay.
The thing was he needed to recharge it, or he needed to improve upon it, or something. He needed some time. That's why he was so brusque with Happy and Pepper. So
to say that Tony Stark's dead, I don't know.
Well, in the previous story, which we don't have, they were led to believe that he was dead. But then he comes out and he's fine. Anyway, there's a saboteur.
Called the Phantom.
Yeah, which, come on. But anyway, he's sabotaging stuff at Stark Industries, and, it's kind of causing government contractors to pull out stuff, and so it's damaging Stark's reputation.
The unions are mad, and the Congress is mad, so it's kind of cool. I like that. And superheroes interacting with the greater world and stuff like that. The unions would be mad, and Congress would be mad.
Yeah, and you don't see Bruce Wayne doing crap like that.
Yeah.
And he's another, millionaire playboy.
Mm-hmm.
Although Tony really is one. Bruce Wayne he just pretends to be a playboy.
Right.
But it's cool, and so was Iron Man. He's got to try and hunt down this Phantom.
Yeah. Are we having the Happy Pepper thing? Yeah, Happy likes Pepper. Pepper likes Tony.
Oh, yeah, Tony lied and said he was engaged to be married to some European debutante so that Pepper would go and be with Happy.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. So what Batman? Iron Man catches the saboteur, the Phantom, and it's that guy in his factory that
wanted some attention. And
it's like, dude, you're gonna go to prison and be like, you're going to get all kinds of attention,
Mhm.
the wrong kind. I can't believe a guy would do that just because he felt slighted.
Oh, that's the people who killed, assassinated Caesar. Because most of them were slighted.
Hmm.
Because Caesar gave them top positions and lots of money and all this.
Yeah.
You know, people, people are strange.
Yeah. So,
We have, looks like the Ant-Man origin story, although we don't ever see Ant-Man. We
well,
see
this is the first appearance of Hank Pym. And
with a lot of ants.
yes, the story is The Man in the Anthill from Tales to Astonish number 27. And it's written by Stan Lee and Larry Lieber. Larry Lieber is Stan's brother.
Hmm.
You know, Lee is a shortened of Lieber.
Oh,
It's Stanley Lieber is actually his real
I'll be
name.
darned.
Yeah. But with art by Jack Kirby and Dick Ayers. So Hank Pym has invented the shrinking stuff.
He's shrinking chairs, but he doesn't test it out on animals or convicts. He tests it out on himself. And he gives himself the dose, but it goes too fast and he doesn't get the antidote. Oh.
Yeah.
So he gets into an anthill and has all kinds of trouble, and this one ant helps him out. Which I don't know why, but the other ants don't like him, but the other ant saves him. So he gets back up and takes the potion, and then he decides never to make himself
Shrink again.
Yeah.
But
smallen himself instead of embiggen.
yeah, but it's interesting though because okay, obviously he breaks that vow for some reason.
Yeah.
But later, you know, it's like he
Or just ignores it. Like
has, you know, later he builds the cybernetic helmet that allows him to control ants.
Yeah.
And, you know, has other at first it's capsules that he has on his belt that he can swallow to change size. And later he develops the Pym particles that allows him to do it at will.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if he needs the costume or not to do it, but yeah. So we got Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange in The Hunter and the Hunted from Strange Tales number 131, and it's written by Stan Lee and with art by Steve Ditko.
Yeah, Baron Mordor is chasing after Doctor Strange. He's got the power of the dread Dormammu.
Yeah,
helping him out. I always like the way Dormammu looks. He
looks like a red ski mask with fire, you know, with no eyes or anything.
Right, or a really scary jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah, but yeah, Dormammu is using Mordo as his agent because, you know, Dormammu had sworn he couldn't attack our earthly plane, and so he empowers Mordo to do it for him, and so Mordo sends all his agents against Doctor Strange, and you see Doctor Strange in fisticuffs, like punching guys.
I like this because he's in the real world instead of this magic land. It makes no sense, and
right.
It is kind of cool. But Mordo makes this minion looks like this goofy Turk guy.
Sure.
And you know, like, wow, that's. Can you do a little better job of blending in? Oh goodness. Well, and then Mordo sends these spirit creatures, and it's really, you have a sense of being hunted, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
There's no place for him to go, and it's just pretty awesome.
Yeah. But it's weird. Doctor Strange is using, and it's one of the rare times you see him. He's punching guys and using magic to get rid of these minions
He's making a bunch of copies of himself and
going
like in the spirit world.
Yeah, and then he fights some guy in his astral form. It's weird.
That's pretty cool. And the spirit guys are creepy looking.
Yeah,
in a good way.
Yeah,
they're just gray, but I guess, or light blue.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of cool.
It's pretty fun, and that's
Okay. What do we have?
We've got Marvel feature number 7. And it's the Battle of the Barbarians. We have Conan and Red Sonja.
Mm-hmm.
It's written by Roy Thomas with art by Frank Thorne.
Yeah,
who I know you
like. Invented a steel bikini.
Mm.
Yep.
And the more I look at Frank Thorne's art, I just think like I feel like he and Pat Boyette must have been like separated at birth, because Pat Boyette he did a lot of stuff at Charlton. He did some things at DC, some things at Warren. You recognize him. He did some work inking, I think, on Claw the Unconquered.
Yeah.
But I don't know. When I look at Frank Thorne's pencils and I look at Pat Boyette's pencils, I'm like, there's very similar, and they would, obviously explored similar genres within comics, fantasy and horror stuff.
I remember seeing an interview with Frank Thorne. I think he had his wife dressed like Red Sonja.
It's Wendy Penny, actually.
Is it?
Who created ElfQuest.
Oh.
But they had in the 70s, they had this whole routine that they would do. Frank Thorne was dressed as a wizard, and she was as Red Sonja. And they had this whole routine they would do at cons as kind of a show. And I found somebody actually found a video of it that surfaced, and I thought I sent you the link, but I'll hunt it up. I'll send it to you. It's pretty cool.
Oh, cool. So. All right. Red Sonja is trying to get this page out of a book that was stolen out of this book. And Conan and his pirate queen
Belit,
who doesn't like Red at all.
No.
She's
jealous.
Yeah, they're both angry at each other.
Yeah, well, it's like you were saying, women will just not be cool with each other. But Conan also wants the page for whatever reason.
Yeah, they don't explain that.
Well, I think this is like the second part of a 3 or 4 part story, which we read, I think, the first another part of it previously in an issue of Conan. Remember, we had a Conan and Sonya team up.
We saw that. Yeah.
It was pretty early on when we first started doing the show together, but yeah.
It wasn't that long ago, I don't think.
Well, I mean, it was last spring.
Was it?
That's when we started doing the show together.
No. I'm saying I don't think... It didn't seem like that long ago we did the Red Sonja and Conan. Okay. Maybe not. I don't know.
I mean, I'd have to go through my notes and see when we did it, but...
So there's this thing about, Angel Vision started with Red Sonja.
Yeah, well, it has something to do with her origin, because she's kind of empowered as this great warrior because of something bad that happened to her. And, so there's a bit of mysticism that... is attached to Sonya's origin. Yeah. So.
No. So, she brings back the paper, and she has promised a big jewel.
Yeah.
And then Conan wants the paper back, so they fight. Pretty good, cool fight.
Oh, yeah. There we go. This is another great example of frenemies. Conan and Red Sonja.
Very good, very good.
Rivals, but they respect each other, and sometimes friends, sometimes not.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, huge fight, and they waken up this demon.
Yeah.
Oh, and they waken up this dragon, and the guy who paid Red there turned into a big bat.
Yeah.
Man thing.
So yeah.
Well, not okay. Oh, well, but it's kind of cool. Very well drawn. Yeah, it was interesting. I'd like to read more of that.
Yeah, I really enjoy. I mean, we do a lot of sword and sorcery stuff on this show, and I always find those comics to be really fun. Anything with Conan, it's great.
Yeah.
So we got some more Fantastic Four.
The Frightful Four.
Yes, in Marvel's Greatest Comics, number 28, one of several stories it reprints is The Frightful Four from Fantastic Four number 36, written by Stan Lee, with art by Jack Kirby, inked by Chick Stone.
Yeah, so I thought this was going to be, I don't know, I thought I saw Frightful Four. Oh, it must be one of those parody things, but no, it's...
They're the evil FF.
Yeah. Reed and Sue are getting engaged.
Yep, and they're announcing it to the press and all this stuff.
And they're all crazy over it.
Yep. But two of the Torch's old enemies, the Wizard and Paste Pot Pete, decide they're going to get together with the Sandman, and and they're going to find a female member to complete their quartet to be an evil version counterpart to the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, Sandman is really cool. He can be done really well.
Yeah.
Hey Spot Pete, not so much.
Yeah.
Wizard's pretty cool.
Yeah, especially once he gets his costume going.
Yeah. Medusa, she looks really good before they get into the Frightful Four, but afterwards she doesn't do as much as...
Yeah. Now it's
disappointing.
A couple things I want to note. Medusa, obviously, this is a period where she's under amnesia and she doesn't know she's an Inhuman and that she's the wife of Black Bolt. So she's, is villainous at this point.
Yeah.
We get a great panel of the engagement party for Reed and Sue, and you've got the Fantastic Four, and their guests at the party are the original X-Men and the Avengers, and is Daredevil in there too?
Oh
no. So, but the Avengers, but the Avengers and the X-Men are at the Baxter Building, and that's cool. We have a one-panel cameo by Spider-Man who sneaks a piece of cake out the window.
I was amused by that.
Yeah.
The Hulk's... What's the Hulk's sidekick?
Rick Jones.
Rick Jones, he's there.
Remember, because at this time, Rick is not adventuring with the Hulk. He is kind of the sidekick of Captain America and the Avengers. He's become the snapper car to the Avengers. Which is cool.
Professor X is pretending not to know the X-Men, and vice versa.
Right, because it's kind of... He funds their stuff. I don't know. It's weird because later the association is just kind of there. But I think because he has like some status with the government and it's the fact that he's a mutant is kind of secret.
Right.
I think that's why. But I like the original X-Men, especially as done by Jack Kirby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is cool.
Yeah. So the Frightful Four, after everybody's left, the Frightful Four make their move. Medusa sneaks them in, and the Pacepot Pete, he puts glue all over the thing, and it's just
pretty cool. It's nice battle.
Yeah. It seems like their whole thing is they just want to get a heavy rep by defeating the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, it looks that way.
Yeah. I mean, that'll do it.
Yeah, Alicia saves the day. Calls in because
Johnny wasn't there.
Is messing around with cars.
Yeah.
A cool car as well.
Yeah.
Alicia gets the flare gun out, and I guess she can figure out where the window is.
Well, yeah. I mean, blind folks, they kind of have to learn where everything is in a room, and then that's why they can just walk into a room and just kind of know. And you have to be really careful with them of moving anything because you can trip them up. And that's very real. They'll tell you that.
So the 504 steal the pogo plane, and the Fantastic Four steal their saucer. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And Sandman, he's on top of it, and he turns into stone. So,
is it because the air pressure or something makes it cold or some crap?
He's hardened by the increased mass. Oh no, I'm not sure why.
Okay. I mean, we can move on.
That's pretty cool. It's a nice battle.
Yeah.
Sue looks really different.
Yeah, she had changed her hairstyle at this point, and then they kind of changed. I mean, her hair would change.
Yeah.
Different times. And, women, they like to do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. They beat the 5-4, right?
Yeah, I think they make out though. So they
escape.
Yeah. Make it out.
So our next story we've got is hang on, where's my notes? The Gladiator, the Girl, and the Glory from Tales of Suspense number 76, written by Stan Lee with art by Jazzy John Romita, and it's Captain America against Batroc the Leaper.
Yeah, who's a French guy. He talks like Black Jack Shellac.
Yeah.
In the Warner Brothers cartoons.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that character.
Oh, man. Okay. It's only one up, but there's this thing with the dams. And he's trying to dam in this river, and Bugs Bunny doesn't like it. So,
okay.
No, it's a good.
Yeah. But Batroc the Leaper, he jumps around and he's a kickboxer. That's his whole deal. And he has a great respect for Captain America because he thinks he's the greatest fighter. And so, Batroc would be a frequent reoccurring foe for Captain America, but he kind of likes him a lot. He's kind of got almost a man crush on him.
Yeah.
Nothing gay, but like it's he likes fighting Captain America, and there's a respect there that at least Batroc has for him.
Right.
So he's interesting in that regard.
Yeah, he is.
But so he's trying to get some, radioactive isotope or something for some villainous organization.
Yeah, and it's really dangerous, and a female agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
has got it. She's poisoned.
Yeah.
And we don't know who he's selling it to.
Yeah, they're just a mysterious organization. It might be Hydra. It could be, who knows.
So they're fighting, and it's a pretty cool battle.
Yeah, I mean, Batroc is really agile. It's a
lot better than you would think. Saw that
as people think, oh, Batroc, he's lame, and he kind of is. I mean, he's not a match for Captain America, but he is very agile, and he's a formidable physical fighter. So he's pretty cool.
Yeah,
actually. So Captain America he lets the bad guys get away with the isotope because he actually switched it, so they didn't really get it. And does Batroc get away?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's one of the things about Marvel Comics, Silver Age especially. It's like, villains got away a lot. And, the hero didn't, defeat them so decisively. But it was kind of interesting because, I don't know, it just made them more real heroes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
Inferno 42 poisoning, that was the whole deal.
Yeah. So, and now we've got Iron Man. So, and the story is Fight On, for a World is Watching, from Tales of Suspense number 70, written by Stan Lee, with art by Don Heck, and inked by Mickey DeMeo. And it's great. It's Iron Man versus Titanium Man on national TV.
Yeah, shouldn't it be Fight On for the World? Because a world, what world? Is Saturn watching this?
I don't know.
Oh, so
I get what you're saying, but I mean...
Yeah. So they're in Alberia. I guess it's neutral territory. And they're going to have this fight. And they fight for 15 minutes and then take a break.
Okay. Now, but the Titanium Man's armor is bigger and stronger, and he's got more different weapons and stuff.
And he's a stronger guy.
Yeah, than Tony, physically.
Yeah.
So, because he's a big Russian guy.
Yeah,
but I think he's not as smart.
Yeah, and the armor is not as sophisticated. So they had this Eurotrash girl.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, who steals the transistor.
Wait, what's the girl's name?
What is her name?
It's a transistor.
Countess something or another.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure that wasn't Natasha Romanoff.
No. Yeah, so you can just walk into Tony Stark's secret hotel lab. Okay.
I guess. Maybe they had a date and he gave her the hotel key.
Right.
So, man, anyway, the fight with Iron Man and Titanium Man is pretty sweet.
Yes, it is. It goes on for a while. They take a break. He rushes back to get the little transistor, and it's gone.
Yeah. Happy finds it and then brings it to him, and he puts himself in danger, which is kind of cool. And... yeah.
Then it's kind of... then we don't see the end. So
yeah.
I'll bet Iron Man wins.
I bet you're right. So, and then we've got, I think it's the next part of that whole bit with Dormammu and Mordo and Doctor Strange. Because it's Doctor Strange in Beware, Dormammu is Watching, from Strange Tales number 139. Oh, I guess there's a big gap in that, about 8 issues, but, it was a long story arc. Mm-hmm. So, and written by Stan Lee with art by Steve Ditko.
Yeah. Oh, Dormammu's watching via TV with, apparently...
like interdimensional TV.
Yeah. With this pretty girl prisoner.
Yeah, that's Clea, and she, remember when Doctor Strange had his showdown with Dormammu in the Dark Dimension, I think that's what it was called, she aided Doctor Strange. Mm-hmm. Or maybe that's to come, I can't remember.
I don't know.
But whatever. At any rate, that's Clea, and eventually she'd be a disciple of Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And she'd be his woman too. But anyway.
Pretty cool drawings of magic. I love it. They have these globes, or I guess it's circles, in around their hands.
Yeah.
Showing, and I just love that.
Like all the magic energy or whatever coming out. Especially when Doctor Strange is making all his cool magic gestures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We ought to have his get all his gestures and do them all the time.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
And Dormammu is, berating Mordo throughout the story.
Right.
Because Mordo's kind of uppity for a minion, and
the Ancient One isn't. He's kind of sick, so he can't really help.
But he's trying.
Yeah.
And
yeah. So we don't know what happens. Okay.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Yeah. So many. Yeah. We don't know what happens now. So okay. It ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
How often did that happen? But there's no cliffhangers in Mighty Samson.
Well, yeah.
So.
Because everything gets resolved so quickly. Here we go. We've got Mighty Samson, number 18 from Gold Key Comics, and yes, the lead story is The Winged Raiders, written by Otto Binder with art by Jack Sparling, and they did, I swear, almost the entire series. So.
Okay. Oh, they're attacked by spear birds, which is kind of stupid. These birds that have propellers for tail feathers, and they spear into the ground. That's not going to work.
Well, right. But hey, it's a comic book.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, like, all the radiation does a lot of weird things that don't make sense in the Mighty Samson world.
Okay.
Does weird things to animals.
Now here's a question. How come Tara, who's not in this issue.
Tara of Jers, yeah.
And Charmaine are dressed to the nines.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone else gets their clothes from K-Man Forever 21.
They're right. They're all in like skins and stuff. Well, no, and Charmaine's father has like a lab coat and stuff.
Does he? Okay.
Yeah, I think some people live like kind of normalish, and then some people like definitely live like cave people.
No, you gotta share.
I don't know because it's very tribal. But you're right. It's inconsistent. I think I can't give you a real answer. I'm sorry. But anyway, these weird bird people attack the people of New York, and Samson's fighting them.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's only two guys, and there's these birdmen, and they Hawkar and Zor.
Yeah. Is Hawkar the... Anyway, I'll just let you...
Hawkar is a nice guy, and he doesn't want anyone to die, and he saves Charmaine, and he likes her.
Yeah.
Because what's not to like?
Right.
But, there's only two guys. I mean, I thought it'd be like an army.
Right.
Or a tribe, but there's only two guys and a bunch of spear birds.
Yeah. Maybe they're the vanguard of an invading army, you
you don't get... Well, yeah, but... he's the leader of the wingmen from the north, but they send a ruler and a guy instead of sending a whole army.
Right. Sometimes when I read these Gold Key comics, I long for the crappiness of Charlton. Just to, I mean, sometimes these are more of a drag than those,
Yeah.
Although it seems like almost all the Charlton stuff we read is really anthology based.
Right. Yeah, these are kind of fun. It's well drawn. So, what is his name? Hawkar. He changes sides.
Yeah.
We have we had the Lost Civilizations Phoenicians little
text, one-page filler, yeah.
No, pretty interesting. I learned some stuff I didn't know.
Well, there you go. We've got in the middle of every issue of Mighty Samson, we've got a story with Tom Morrow, and this story is Slaves of the Ray, and Otto Binder and Jack Sparling did it. What
is wrong with his face?
It's just messed up looking. He's just a goofy-looking mad scientist. But
His
anyway,
tongue out, or
I don't know. Do you want to?
Weird, but no, I don't. But he uses a supercomputer to enslave people's minds, and
this mad scientist does.
Yeah, Tom Morrow saves the day by unplugging the computer. The end.
I just don't like those Tom Morrow stories.
No, they could be a lot more fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard to tell a real story in 4 pages of comics because that's a 1-page story on paper. If you
Oh,
think about
really?
it.
Oh.
Think about it. No, I mean, if you think about it, if that was just all text, that'd be like one of those one-page text stories.
Oh, that'd be a 3-minute mystery or something like that. Or
Yeah,
something, like it wouldn't
yeah,
be a paragraph.
yeah. But yeah, the Tom Morrow stories are lame. But Mighty Samson is better. What's going on with Mighty Samson?
So he's okay. Oh, Zor is angry, so he sends his spear birds. Yeah. Oh,
You like this, right?
I kind of do. I mean, this is not one about. I like it when Tara's there. She's a great villainess. These guys are goofballs. So
Yeah, are they? These birdmen do look cool.
yeah, they
They're
do.
blue and they've got like rainbow-colored
Yeah,
wings.
and they fight, and Hawkar is killed, and then on top of the just the
They,
Chrysler building, which is kind of cool.
except the Chrysler building looks like the Empire State Building.
Yes and no.
Yeah, and then there's like a dragon, which that's a really cool dragon, I have to say.
The long neck, who eats spearbirds.
How
I'm not sure
convenient.
how not Hercules. Samson knows this, but he does.
Hercules, Samson.
Yeah.
Uh,
See, that looks like Chrysler building, but Chrysler building doesn't have star thing coming straight out perpendicular to the ground.
who knows? Maybe they changed it.
Not perpendicular. Is it perpendicular or straight or?
I don't know.
Oh, it's the end. So they fight and and that's the end.
So Hakar sacrificed himself to save Samson and Charmaine, and so he was a hero.
Samson didn't like Hawkar because Samson likes Charmaine.
Yeah. I guess he's pretty territorial about her, but I feel like I just read another issue that we'll talk about next week where he's like, "Oh no, we're just friends," and he's kind of nervous about it.
Oh, okay.
Which is weird. So I don't know. I think he's conflicted about how he feels about Charmaine.
Mm.
But like a caveman, he's territorial.
Oh, I just looked at the covers of Mighty Samson, and they're wonderful. They're beautiful. Just gorgeous.
Gold Key has had a habit of almost all their comics were these wonderfully painted covers, and then the interior art is like kind of hit or miss.
Yeah, it's definitely okay. It's Mighty Samson,
but that's where they put their money, definitely in the covers. Not, I mean, again, like they were. Gold Key had one of the lowest page rates for artists in the industry at the time. I think the only people who were lower, of course, were Charlton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh well. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that ends.
Sometimes you get what you pay for, though. I mean, because I think Marvel and DC, I mean, they had great covers and great interiors.
Yeah.
For the most part. And,
yeah.
And boy, Gold Key and Charlton, you're really gambling when you pick up one of those comics.
Yeah.
Although there's some really cool Charlton books, and for Gold Key, I'm like you can't go wrong with Magnus Robot Fighter or Dr. Soul or Man of the Atom. Those are both great books. And also, I think the Space Family Robinson's a very cool title. They had other cool stuff.
I wonder if there's Charlton and Gold Key people who are like, I'm a DC person. I'm a Marvel guy. Are there people who said these guys are great? There's gotta be, but it's like
there's definitely fandoms. I mean, there's nobody who's like, I prefer Charlton over Marvel or DC. I've never met that guy.
Oh yeah, they're 5 years old.
But here's the thing: it's people who are really into comic fandom in general. They're like, no, Charlton had some really great books, and these are the ones that I really like, and Gold Key too. Like me, know, and like you.
Yeah.
So they have fan bases. But anyway, so what did we learn today, Jeff?
Oh. Well, I don't know. I guess men have and more. When men make enemies, they can become friends. When women make enemies, they remain enemies.
Okay.
And I think that's true.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure there are exceptions, but with people there are always exceptions.
Yeah.
That's why humans are not a science and never will be.
Yeah.
Human behavior, anyway.
Well, I mean, there's behavioral scientists and stuff. I mean,
yeah,
but it's never exact because people, we're all unique. We all have our own foibles and individual stuff. Just like Mr. Rogers told us, there's only one view. I thought that, like whatever. No, I thought. Look,
Yeah,
in all seriousness, Fred Rogers is one of my top heroes, and that's the message that really I loved. It. Everyone was unique and special, and you're important.
Yeah.
That's also the lesson of Doctor Who. He says, "Oh, I never met anyone who wasn't important."
Oh, how sweet.
Yeah.
But you can never use always or never when talking about people. There's always an exception.
That's true. Or there's never an exception.
Yes.
That's just crazy talk. I'm just messing with you. So, is that it? You want to call it good?
Yeah.
All right. This has been Comic Reflections. Thanks for listening.